Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's session on high velocity selling in EdTech. Over the last few years, we've seen EdTech sales teams evolve faster than almost any other segment, bigger funnels, faster cycles, and tighter targets. But sustaining that speed is the real challenge. Today's conversation is about what actually keeps these engines running, the systems, habits, and plays that drive consistent conversations when the usual levers stop working. We've got an incredible panel with us. First up, we have Mr. Harsh Agarwal, who leads business strategy at Coding Ninjas. Welcome, sir. Next up, we have Mr. Abhishek Saha, VP and Head Sales at Tutopia. Next up, we have Mr. Vami Sri Krishna, AVP, Academic Alliance at Board Infinity. And lastly, we have Mr. Ramakrishna, founder and CEO at Sisya Class. Thank you so much to all our incredible panelists for taking out time and joining us for today's session. Together, they represent every side of EdTech from high volume B2C funnels to partnership driven upskilling and automation. Moderating today's session is Mr. Vineet Tiwari, VP Sales at Lead Squared, who's worked closely with some of India's fastest growing EdTech brands to help them build scalable, high velocity sales system. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining. I would also like to welcome our audience. Please feel free to drop in any questions that you have during the session, and we'll try to take it up towards the end of the session. Over to you, Vineet.
Thanks a lot, Ashna, for the introduction. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So we are discussing, going to discuss about high velocity sales in the EdTech space. So the first question, which always comes, is about velocity of sales. So that means basically that a lot of data is going to come into the system, and the processing of data has to happen through assignments. Then that data moves into funnel, and from funnel to kind of it get converted into customer. So my first question, I want to start with Harsh. So Harsh, so what levers still move the revenue in 2025, and the audience would also, they would want to know that, okay, what will not work out.
Sure. So I think, in sales, from whatever I have learned so far in my journey, I think fundamentals stays the same, right? But the way you execute those fundamentals keeps on changing with time. So I think the way we qualified leads and how precisely we qualify leads and how fast we move them down the funnel is something which generally helps a lot today with the increasing competition, right? I think specifically for people in high ticket size courses or upscaling space, it's very highly performance marketing driven. And if you are spending on performance marketing, I think it's a very competitive space. If you are running for example, if you are running an add-on, let's say a course on full stack development, right? There will be 100 other people also doing the same for the same audience. So it's very likely that the person or the lead is going to register for a lot more at a lot more websites, right? Not only yours. So I think the way you qualify leads and how fast you move them down the funnel is something which generally helps a lot. And the way of doing that has changed a lot in 2025, right? So the traditional call blasting methods that people generally used to use is something which is outdated now. And I think it's slowing down a lot of processes from what I know.
Great. So thanks a lot, Harsh. And a subsequent or a complementary sort of question which adds up on that say since H1 is over, and if you have to double the revenue in H2, so where would you want to invest? Whether it will be say it's like process, tech, or the people.
So I think generally, for me, I generally keep my people first. They are generally the first priority. But if it is a time-bound scenario, right? If I have to double the revenue in a very short span of time, I think people would be the last option for me to invest in, because generally whatever you do for people, whether you hire fresh people or you invest in retraining them, I think it's a time-bound output also, right? The output is not instant. It will take time for them to deliver. So for example, in our case, from what I have seen, and we primarily hire fresh graduates when we hire sales reps. And generally, we see that it takes at least 3 to 4 months from their hiring for them to actually start contributing meaningfully, right? So people would be last for me. It's very difficult for me to pick between process and tech. I think both are very, very important. So obviously, tech is something generally which takes a precedence. But yeah, I think tech and process I will put at the same level, and people would be last if I have to double the revenue in a very short span of time.
Thanks a lot, Harsh. I think the audience would also have got like a lot of learnings from this. That if I mean the founders, entrepreneurs who are there, or the business heads who are there in a tech space, if they have to say understand that okay, what levers are say I mean moving for us, and where our focus should be, probably I mean like that was the answer that you gave. Thanks a lot. My next question goes to Abhishek. So Abhishek, the K-12 market is in high, say, I mean, yeah, I mean, high pressure would be, if not the best word, it is a good definition basically for the it's like K-12 market. So in this market, we should also think about that. What can be avoided? So if you could help us understand that what mistakes we do or we should not do while chasing the targets or goals.
Right. So, as you said, K-12 space is a very high pressure game. So, in the K-12 space, every month feels like a final exam. There's immense pressure. Parents are seasonal buyers, school calendars drive spikes, right? And and it goes on, right? And so counselors are always chasing short-term closes. So the biggest mistake I feel I have seen sales leaders make is chasing targets emotionally instead of strategically. So when pressure builds, many leaders react. They start pushing harder, adding more reviews, changing pitch mid cycles. But that only burns out teams and confuses the funnel. In my experience, clarity and calmness will always win over chaos and aggression. You can't scale panic, you can only scale processes. So the mistake I feel is when leaders think more pressure equals to more sales. It never does. It just kills momentum. So this is one mistake I feel leaders make in the K-12 space.
Great, thanks. So Abhishek, as per your experience, you have led both, it's like large teams and the lean teams as well. So if you have to keep the morale of everybody high, and like no short of okay micromanagement though, so what would be it's like what would be the it's like okay, playbook for you?
So as you can see, I have led both large team and lean teams. I have led 30-member pilot to 120 people plus across. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
again, I've realized people don't perform because you tell them to do so. They perform because they believe in the mission and they trust the system. Micromanagement is the easiest trap for a sales leader, especially in K-12, where targets are reset every month. But micromanaging doesn't drive accountability, it will drive more of anxiety. So my playbook is quite simple. It's of three C's basically. First is clarity. Everyone knows the top three metrics that matters: connects, demos, and conversations. Nothing beyond that. Second is communication. I prefer quick, data-driven huddles instead of long emotional reviews. So you should focus on why the system broke, not why the person failed. And third is celebration. Morale is built by recognizing small wins every single day. Because it's a high pressure game of K-12, a great close message in a team huddle can create more momentum than a full week review. So it's not about control, it's about creating the rhythm and trust. When people trust your system, they start managing themselves.
Thanks a lot, Abhishek. Since we know that EdTech, one is basically the inquiries that we generate through the organic channels. I mean, like organic inquiries. Second is basically, we do a lot of activities in either ATL or BTL, and we generate like those sort of inquiries. Third, basically, it comes from the like different or affiliated channels, the partnerships. So, okay, Vamsi, I want to understand from you that when say if you have to drive the enrollment through the partnerships, so how do you maintain the sales velocity, and we should not be losing the control on the funnel as well. So if you could, like help us understand, elaborate on this, will be helpful for all the audience.
Sure. So firstly, I have been working in this edtech space from past 7, 8 years, and the only thing I see is for every institution, they more or less partner with 2 or 3 affiliates, where they kind of feel I'll get 5 or 10 admissions from XYZ consultant, or let's just say there will be one high potential consultant where they can kind of get 30, 40 admissions. There is a mid-range consultant who kind of gives 15, 20 admissions. So depending upon the appetite of the organization or institution, they typically identify these. So first step would be identifying what partnership yields what ROI. That is the first basic step. So after that, you have to clearly kind of define and align the institution goals and the affiliate goals or consultant goals. And also clarify your incentives. So let's just say if you are expecting 10 from one consultant and if he does 20 or 25, so what additional does the consultant get? So this would be the first layer where there is a clarity on whom to partner with, what affiliate gets what kind of ROI for me, and also what is the incentives that are kind of should be rolling out during this admission process. And the second one is discussing the funnel management systems. So as the institutions will be kind of working with these affiliates or has a history of working with these affiliates from past 5, 10, 15, 20 odd years. So now with the understandings or learnings from past, so they should clearly be able to identify the patterns on what month gives me what rate of conversions. Or let's just say if on the demographic basis, if I get 100 leads, let's just say from Delhi, 100 leads from Karnataka, what percentage of conversions would be from those certain demographics? And also understanding if I get XYZ number of leads, what would be my lead to application rate, application to conversion rates. And also you have to kind of periodically plan your meetings with the affiliates or consultants so that if there are any escalations that can be addressed soon and best possible outcomes can be kind of got for both institution and affiliate as well. So now here we have to also kind of clearly point out the escalation protocols. So during the time of admission process, the major problem is affiliates or consultants tend to dump more number of leads. They promise XYZ number of leads, but they tend to push 1.5x or 2x number of leads, and managing those leads and clearly understanding what is the capability of the institution, communicating it better with affiliates first would kind of help these regressions kind of coming down. And also highlighting the frameworks for staying proactive. So if I get XYZ number of leads in one particular month, whether I would be calling all those leads in the same month or whether I will be kind of sending an email or SMS first and understand the responsiveness of the leads and then kind of call back on. So we have to kind of clearly lay down those. Based upon these kind of fundamental layers, we kind of can drive those enrollments and understand the actual sales velocity or pipeline here.
Thanks a lot, Vamsi. A follow-up question would be that how do you measure the health of a partnership-led funnel? It's because since on the partnership inquiries that you generate, it is generated so without control. So how do you check the health?
Correct. So now coming to checking this funnel or measuring this funnel. So we have to have some few, health parameters. So like every parameter that we analyze for any activity that we do in our day. So even for enrollments, we should always understand what is the lead to enrollment conversion rates. So how much time it is taking from lead generation to lead conversion, and also partner engagements. What is the percentage of NPS or what is the percentage of dead leads that are kind of coming in? What is the engagement depth? Whether the leads are repeating or not? Whether is there any possibility of cross-selling? Because usually institutions have 2 or 3 different courses or programs. If it is a big institution, then there is always an opportunity when one student says, I don't want XYZ course, you always can pitch any other program that is offered by the university or institution. And also see whether those leads are kind of matching with any referrals or drop off analysis, like where and why the leads are kind of dropping off without joining the institution. And also kind of understanding, sending a small survey form to the students. So usually students or parents do not tend kind of spending time on the survey form, but what we can understand is we can at least map, even if 10-15% of students or parents say that this is my pain point, it is always beneficial for the institution and also the affiliates, so that affiliates can communicate this better rather than the institution.
Sure.
So always surveys, partnerships, feedback loops, all these would be the quantitative measures or analysis that I would suggest for institutions or affiliates to kind of have it.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Vamsi. Okay, moving on. So, so Rama, we have spoken so far about the velocity, about generation of inquiries, about the process, about maintaining the pipeline, about the partnership. We would want to understand about automation now. I mean, say like how automation is basically, it's like changing the the life of sales team basically on a day-to-day basis, especially in K-12. So Rama, if you could help us understand on this.
Sure. Hi, Vinith. Thanks for the great question. The first thing is, almost right these days, K-12 education companies, almost 90 to 95%, everyone using CRMs, and moreover, it's mandatory for everyone else. I just want to give the one example, quick example. When I was started the company Sisya Class, 2024 to 2025, I never used any CRMs or anything else also. But at that moment, we used some Excel sheets, spreadsheets, kind of things also. We never get the kind of quick results or kind of things. After that, when we plan to use the CRMs and everything, so we show the results. Results is very quickly we did it, and the enrollments also we happen very nicely also. And moreover, the work pressure. Pressure means in the sense like previously Harsh also used the K-12 is like a very much pressure kind of things with the things. But the thing is like whenever the CRM is there, the enrollments and tracking it's very easy. Moreover, follow-ups is very important, right? So Sisya Class still we are using the very good CRMs, and moreover especially enrollments also we are cracking very nicely. Of course, what you are saying like CRMs is very important for the these days education.
Great. So Rama, a follow-up question to this is basically
Yeah.
that do you see AI eventually, taking over the first touch roles, which nowadays the counselors or the co-teachers handle today?
Most of them these days, everyone thinking is AI can replace the counselors and AI co-teachers also. Of course not. AI can help us to create the sheets and everything, as well as the follow-ups also, and at the same time, like giving the feedbacks, instant things. These kind of things only will be help us. But of course, no one can replace the counselors, because these days, the parents should be come up. They won't be touch up with the parents' connections with the counselor. These are really important. So I don't think so. AI can be replace the counselors and the co-teachers also. AI can replace the feedbacks, quick feedbacks, and quick replies also, auto messaging also. These kind of things will be AI can do that. I don't think so. AI can replace the counselors and the teachers also.
Thanks. Even I also feel the same, by the way. So, uh, AI
Yes.
is going to be an enabler, basically, rather than like replacing the people. It will enable people
Yeah.
more efficient. I mean, like that's what I also believe.
Basically, to be frank, I just want to be say like the work efficiency will be increased, and more follow-ups and kind of things, feedbacks also. These kind of things will be help. But I don't think so. It really convinced to the parents, like especially in edtech sectors.
Yes, true. So moving on. So Harsh, I want to come back to you, and so this question will be for all the panelists. Okay, one by one we will go. So Harsh, what's one system? It can be a process, it can be habit, it can be a tool. Okay, you have seen which has made the biggest difference in maintaining the sales velocity in your organization?
Okay. So I think there's not just one such process. I think there are multiple things that have to happen and does not break for for everything else to work, right? So for us, I think it's mostly around being proactive and not reactive in a way. I mean, that's a habit that we in the leadership team have inculcated, which just helps us busy keep looking at data day and night to make sure that whenever some things break throughout the funnel, be it in performance marketing or in sales, we just quickly identify it so that we don't have to be reactive later on, right? So that is something that we have done. And I think generally, I think the mistake that I've seen sales leaders make is whenever there's a drop in revenue, they just keep on blaming their salespeople, right? So you need to be first very aware of the metrics that you should look at and what exactly when there's something that tells you that the quality of leads have dropped, how exactly you are going to identify those quality drop metrics. How do you identify that actually something has broken in sales process, right? So that is something that we have inculcated, which I think have helped us sustain at similar numbers month on month or better numbers every month, right? Instead of random drops in revenue.
So Abhishek, the same question for you as well, if you could help us understand from your standpoint.
I feel it's very difficult to choose between process, habit, or the tool. I feel all three is equivalently important. So if I have to just form a process on how three are very very important and it's non-negotiable. First, if I tell about process, it's the foundation. A process is a structured way of doing anything or something. It gives you direction, removes randomness, and builds predictability. So I'll give you an example. Having a daily huddle, suppose at 10 a.m. or reviewing demos every Friday, that's a process. It ensures rhythm, accountability, even when emotions fluctuate. But process alone is just a rule. It becomes powerful when people follow it consistently. And that's where the habit comes in. When a process is done repeatedly and it's done internally throughout the system, it turns into a habit. A habit means the team no longer needs reminders or motivation. The rhythm becomes automatic. So if a sales team, suppose, does the daily huddle within 21 days every day, it becomes a culture. You don't need to enforce it anymore. They expect it. So a nurtured process creates a habit. That's how discipline becomes culture, not through pressure and but through daily repetition. Now, talking about the tool, that's the enabler. Uh, Process can't scale without a tool. A tool is what standardizes the process. It freezes people from manual friction. So tool don't replace human effort, they amplify consistency. So my final thought would be process builds structure, habit builds culture, and tools makes both sustainable. So if you nurture your process long enough, it becomes a team habit. But if you don't have the right tools, the process will die in execution. So that's why if you see great organization, they invest equally in process design, habit formation, tool adaptation. That's the triangle that sustains high performance.
Sure, Abhishek. Thanks a lot. So Vamsi, I mean, same question for you. We wanted to understand your viewpoints as well on this.
Yes, yes. So basically, what in my point of view, CRM tools or any tools for that matter should be used for agility, transparent communication, and focusing on fundamentals. So now, in my current organization, Board Infinity, or in my previous organization in College Dunya, we had multiple tools for multiple activities. So whether it might be for kind of taking as basic as attendance logins or understanding the sales funnels, or even kind of having any kind of reimbursements that are to be done, or any tickets that are to be raised, or else if you're having any kind of doubt in one particular process, you can always kind of ping the right person at the right point in time. So basically, if I kind of raise a ticket now and if I get a reply 48 hours later, then that is kind of a not a stable process. If I can get my ticket resolved within less than an hour or 1.5 hour, so that is where it is kind of a sweet spot and everything can be in a line. And also the main functions of the CRM should be based around these fundamental values. And how I kind of see a CRM tool is kind of a fixer for any funnel leaks, keeping the team sharp and finding playful ways to kind of move the sales processes. So that is my perspective. And in terms of coming to K-12 education in particular, so we today have multiple CRMs focusing on different environments, whether it might be admissions or whether it might be classroom 360 environment or only digital classrooms. Some people are kind of focusing on end-to-end career counseling for students, bill payments, or else the office admin system management. So there are multiple environments set up inside a whole CRM. So if you consider CRM as a bubble, there are multiple spots where we, kind of go and help K-12 institutions out in streamlining their processes, having a transparent communication for all the stakeholders in the system.
Thanks a lot, Vamsi. So Rama, uh, I request
Uh,
your views on the same question, please.
yes, Vinit. To be frank, I just want to talk in our Sisya class. Like previously, what I thought is like CRMs is not required. But after that, like when we have a lot of leads and everything, after that we feel CRMs like is a required. It's very important. You know why? I will tell you the things, because CRMs can help you follow ups, leads, also keep texting to the parents and everything. This is really important. And moreover is like the tracking is very important, right? These days K-12 education, like lots of leads. There's a text leads also, there is like cold leads also, most of the leads is there. So in this case tracking is very important. In this case, like our CRMs will be helping us to track the leads, especially what stage and do they enrolled or not, like they follow up also, when they're following, when they're going to join also. This kind of things will be help. So in this case, in our Sisya class, CRM is a rhythm. It's important for us. So that's what way I'm thinking.
Thanks a lot, Rama. Since if things are, say, like working fine, we are able to generate the inquiries, we are able to convert them into pipe. The pipe is also, say, like moving forward, and there are like revenue generation happening, etc. Then everything is like well settled. But in the situation when we see that there is a drop in the conversion, in the pipe, in the sales. So Harsha, I want to know, like, understand from you that if that situation happens, so what metrics would you be, say, like watching when there is a slowdown in sales, when like there is a revenue, say, dip, etc. Uh, so what metrics would you want to watch, and how do you improve it?
Sure. So I think in my last answer also I mentioned that we generally look at a lot of data, and we are quite proactive when we are looking at data, right? So and generally I think this happens very frequently when you are very heavy on performance marketing, and if it is not a very and I think very few edtechs in India would be, I will not say no edtech, but very few edtechs in India will have a very pull sort of a sales process, right? I think that's not the case. So it happens very frequently, and we generally make sure that we identify where the problem is, and mostly it is either in the lead quality or in somewhere in the sales process, right? And we have different sort of metrics when it comes to both of these. Specifically for sales, I think what we look at is if there is a drop in average talk time per connected call or not, right? Whether the sales reps are able to speak longer on calls or not. Second, if that is intact, we generally look at lead consumption rates. If first call to VC scheduling is on track or not, right? What is happening after people are going in VCs? For lead quality, we generally have a derived metric for performance marketing, which we call cost per professional attended lead. We have a mid-funnel webinar. So that's a derived metric that we look at. If that does not change, generally we have seen that the quality does not change, right? So we have such sort of metrics that we look at, and yeah, I mean, we are quite proactive now after doing a lot of mistakes in past. So yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Harsh. So Abhishek, okay, what would be your take on this question?
So yeah, when sales slow down, most people, start obsessing over revenue, but that's already the outcome. I feel I focus on leading indicators, the inputs that cause sales to rise or fall. So, if I had to break it down, number one would be lead flow velocity. Are we generating enough new conversations every day? If new qualified leads or inbound inquiries drop even by 10 to 15%, you will feel the impact on closures within 2 weeks. So, I track number of new connects per counselor per day. That's my early warning signal. Second, I feel would be demo to connect ratio. Are the conversations still converting into serious demos? If connects are happening but the demo bookings are down, it means interest is dropping. Either the pitch isn't resonating or the follow-ups aren't taken timely. So I track conversion from connect to demo more than the total calls made. And the third, which I feel is the most important metric, is the team energy metrics. Are the inputs dropping because motivation is low? A slowdown isn't always market driven. Sometimes it's morale driven as well. So I also look at, activity to effort ratio, how many effective calls or demos are being done versus planned. So if energy dips, no system can fix it until the team's mindset is, reignited. So if I had to give you a summary, when sales slow down, I don't chase revenue. I watch pipeline velocity, demo conversion, and the lead flow because that tells me why it's slowing before the numbers crash.
Correct. It's actually, I mean, very true. So Vamsi, we would want to understand your take also on this.
So,
So
yes, yes.
yeah, please go
So
ahead.
coming to, kind of sales kind of coming down or the velocity kind of, dripping. So definitely we need to understand the cycle of admissions as a whole or the sales process as a whole. Because if you take in one academic year or in one admissions year, definitely it's not a cycle of continuous growth. So there are highs and there are lows. So we need to understand. So what is the point of conversion first? So which month am I going to kind of get my 80% of conversions done? So when my other 20% conversions are happening. So based upon that, I would kind of understand the effort of ground level staff. So whether they are kind of following up in a similar pace, are they kind of aligning themselves with the right admission cycle so that they kind of focus on the right leads or I would say right timing for convincing the parent. Because when it is coming to K-12 education, they have lot many options these days. It's not like there are one or two big names. If you take degree colleges or universities for that matter, it is a easy choice to make for both parents and students. But coming to K-12, there are plenty of options and plenty of syllabuses that are taught and different line of thoughts of parents, whether it might be influencers of parents or students. So now we need to understand what is also kind of identify. So we will need to identify what is kind of the uh, pushing factor for parents or students to kind of get convert, whether my team is kind of focusing on those key strategy points or not, because it is not always the fee structure, it is not always the infrastructure that helps student or parent to take decision that I have to kind of send my what to this particular institution. So we need to identify all those key pain points and understand the entire cycle and kind of assign. And we need to also have a mapping of how well the staff functions. Because in my staff, it is not like in everywhere, 100% of the people who are in sales will not be star performers. There
Correct.
are few people who kind of do 20% of work and get 80% of results. So we need to also understand and assign leads accordingly so that we get the best results out of the entire admission cycle as a whole.
Thanks a lot, Vamsi. So Rama, your view
Yes.
on this, please.
Yes, Vinit. Vinit, the first point is strategies is very important. why it's like our sales is getting down kind of things. Like if you as a team leader, as a team manager, if you make some good strategies, it will be impact to the counselors. So here is the first thing is, of course, there is a demo to conversion rate is very important. In K-12 education, it's very high level. Everyone is checking the conversion rate only, how much they're doing, what they're doing, and everything also. And moreover, the next metric is like they're checking like why, what happening the counselor, like how what come he's pitching. The pitching point is very important. If you don't pitch the very well, then no one will be able to convert. Like it's a dead end point also. And one more strategy is like we have to check the call recordings, what they're talking, how they're pitching also, and what is the conversation happening between the parent and the counselor. These are very much high matrix is important. And moreover, like if you check it like the matrix, like the first point is like recordings also, conversions also, as well as what in between the parent and the counsel happen. This kind of matrix, if you check it easily, this is only to get the solution. This is only you will get to know like later what do you can decide to the bring the new enrollments. Then once you rectify this kind of things, then it will be easy to rectify and easy to improve the next enrollments also. So this is my opinion.
Thanks a lot, Rama. We all have been in sales, and we would all have seen like highs and lows. In sales, like sometimes happens that we do not we are not able to scale up, or say a particular month is bad. So as per your experience, I'm sure you all would have, like different experience, and now, say, I mean, different ways to deal with it or to fix it. So Harsh, if no, I can again start with you, and we would want to understand that. Okay, what's one, you say, I mean, fix that has helped you to turn a bad month around?
Sure. So, in our case particularly, we generally don't see random bad months, but usually I think in EdTech, this OND phase, October, November, December quarter, because of festive season and Big Billion Day and all of these festive sales on e-commerce, generally I think this is a bad month for every other EdTech out there, right? Because CPLs shoots up massively, and generally as you scale on performance marketing, your spend increases with time, your CPL will shoot up higher and higher every year and year, right? So I think this is generally a bad month wherein I believe this is not a sales issue but a consumer side issue, and a platform side issue wherein the supply itself drops massively, right, by 35-40%. So the only way you can compensate it is either you increase the supply by doing something around running campaigns, returning old leads, and the way you do it by not spamming your users, I think that's an art, right? So how you do that, how you execute that is something which is of very importance. How you handle overall spend for that quarter, adjust your performance marketing spends, what all you do on performance marketing to make sure that the supply is intact, right? So that has less to do with sales, but more to do with your supply management methods. I think that has helped us a lot. And second, in such scenarios, we have seen that if bandwidth drops sometime, because in our case specifically, I told you that we generally hire freshers only, and that itself comes with a lot of other challenges wherein you see no hiring happening in campuses during this phase, right? So, and even if you hire, let's say in November, December, it will take 3-4 months for them to start contributing. So in our case specifically this month, I think AI calling is something which has helped us a lot. So just to give you an idea, I think right now all of my first calls happen through AI. I've made it live yesterday only. We were doing A/B test from quite some time, and the favor was in the AI group. And today we have made it live for all of our leads, and we have seen amazing results. So that is something which has helped. So increasing bandwidth when and this is I think specifically for this financial year only, because before that I think there was no AI calling that you could have done, right? So mostly, I think managing supply when there is a spike in CPS, random spikes because of festive season and sales. And second, maintaining your bandwidth is something which has helped us a lot.
Thanks, Harsh. So Abhishek, like what would be your say, I mean, quick fix to turn a bad month around?
So there are multiple options, how you can fix or turn a bad month around. So when a month isn't going well, the first instinct is to push harder, but the real fix is to create instant momentum. So I'll tell you, 5 approaches how we used to do it or we are doing it. The fastest fix is not the new leads, it's reviving the old ones. So as Harsh said, the CPL spikes, and there's a problem in the CPL as well. So we don't, usually, rely more on new leads. We try to revive the old ones. We run a 48-hour, revival campaign on silent or inactive leads with fresh communication. This instantly reactivates 15 or 20% of our old prospects and boost the team's morale because they start seeing conversations immediately. Second, I generally focus on speed to lead. Sometimes the problem isn't volume, it's response time. When sales slow down, I make sure every new lead is contacted within 15 minutes of generation. That single discipline shift often improves our conversion by 20 to 30%. The momentum comes back when when your speed does. Another way of doing it is we run contest, three closes in 2 days, you get instant reward of 5,000. So it's not about the money, it's about the urgency and excitement. Fourth, manager lead closures are something that we concentrate on when things dip. Leaders must step into the game, just not in the dashboard, but helping counselors close deals, helping counselors book demos. So we make sure leaders are getting involved in terms of closures as well. And last, which I feel is the most important, when the team's energy dips, sales dip faster than the market. So I reset the tone, a short huddle, direct talk, remind everyone why we started and what's at stake. A single day of renowned confidence can change the entire week's performance. So sales is 60% psychology, get the belief back, and the numbers follow. So my quick fix is always momentum, revive old leads, tighten response time, and re-energize the floor. The market rarely changes in a month, but only the team energy does. So you focus more on re-energizing the team, and most things are sorted.
Thanks a lot, Abhishek. Swamsi, we would want to understand your viewpoints as well on this.
So, coming to the downtime, so there, as I have mentioned earlier as well, so definitely there are areas where, we kind of expect kind of less returns or zero returns in that one particular month, or let's just say a few months put together. Now, what we kind of should do is, as Abhishek mentioned or Harsh mentioned, there are multiple ways to deal with it. So whether it might be kind of continuous follow-up or reviving or working on old leads, and boosting morale definitely helps. So along with this, we also need to identify newer leads, because though the CPL kind of spikes, we always should be, in the search of new opportunities. It is also how we kind of promote ourselves, or how we kind of push the narrative from the ground staff. So it should be us who kind of will be setting the narrative. So even if you take the example of real estate, it is always narrative setting, or any industry for that matter. If you set the narrative correct, everything follows. Your sales pipeline or your reputation or how people kind of see you entirely depend upon how you can kind of effectively communicate about yourself to the right target audience. So what I would say is we should focus on the marketing strategies to have better months in the coming long way, because it is not an instant quick fix to kind of get overnight sales, because the kind of segment that we are talking about has a lot of decision making time. So there are instances where admissions kind of admission withdrawal happens even after the parent kind of pays the fees, or after 2 3 months of commencing the classes. So that is where we kind of have to kind of persist strongly and focus on the marketing strategies and work on long-term strategies rather than quick short fixes. But if it has to be a quick short fix, we always have to kind of push the narrative multiple times through multiple channels and engage both old and also focus on new leads as well.
Thanks a lot to Kamsi. So Rama, what would be your view on this?
Yes. going back to warm lead, going back to check the keep engaging the old leads also and everything. So here is clearly best example I can give. Last month and this month also we're facing like lot of leads and everything. So in this case, what we are doing right now, we are just like fixing, going to some schools and everything, conducting the examinations. Say as I'm like aptitude are of examinations we are going to do it, and we are generating the leads. And at the same time also we are cracking the previous leads. We are keep taking them like what they're doing. I mean we giving the like do you think like it will help Sisya class and this kind of questions also we are giving suggestions also to them. So after that we are making some curiosity to the parent also. Let's say 6 months ago they said like they don't want to join to the in our organization, but like whenever we're going to give them some worksheets or kind of tips and everything, then they are showing interest also. So we are doing some small activities and engaging also to the parents and students also, then kind of things, then we are slowly increasing the sales and increments also. And here is main strategy we are lookups surrounding is like schools partnerships, and we are going to conduct the examinations also like math aptitude test olympiad test kind of things. Then automatically brand value also increasing. At the same time we are engaging getting new enrollments, new leads also. So this is what I'm doing, or we are doing in the CCI class.
Thanks a lot, Rama. And we move to the last like question for the day, and I want all the panelists to answer in say 30 second to 45 second, as we are like also running parallel to the time. So Harsh, I will start with you. What's one say principle you would want every sales leader to remember when the numbers are not moving as per expectation?
So I think generally what has me with scale is trusting numbers and trusting data completely, right? I think sales is mostly mathematics. The more you trust data, all the decisions that you take are data backed, I think you will be sorted. I'm not a very big advocate of things like re-energizing people when there is a drop in revenue, right? Because all of these things works fine when you are a very small team of 30, 40, 50 people, right? When you are, let's say, a team of 500, 600 people, I think your role is less about talking to people on a daily basis, but making sure that everything is data oriented, and whatever decisions you take personally are data backed and maybe in favor of the people that you work with, right? So I think that's it. Identifying the root cause which is causing the issue. If it's a supply issue, then you need to fix supply. If it is a consumer side issue because of festive season, then you need to make sure that your sales pitch adapts as per that behavior change. So I think trusting data, adapting to making sure that the root cause is identified and solved is something that has personally helped me, and I think that is something which everyone should follow.
Thanks, Harsh. So, Abhishek, what would be like your advice to the
So
leaders?
if I had to leave one principle for every sales leader, for me it would be, consistency beats intensity every single time. So in K-12 especially, markets fluctuate, parents change decisions, morale dips. But if your system, culture, and discipline stay consistent, your numbers will eventually catch up. So leadership isn't about chasing highs, it's about building a machine that performs even on an ordinary day. That's what defines real and sustainable sales velocity. So yes, consistency beats intensity every single time. That's my principle.
Thanks a lot, Abhishek. We will come to Vamsi for the same question. So Vamsi, okay, what would be your view on this?
Yes, so what I would like to say is both Harsh and Abhishek put together, has more or less concluded the answer for everyone, I guess. But if we have to kind of see or maintain the sales velocity, so it always depends upon the moral of entire team. So along with that, we always need to kind of educate our own team on the vision that we stand for or the mission that is currently there for this academic cycle. So, because every sales cycle has a different target. Maybe my previous cycle would be number of admissions. this admission cycle could be on revenue growth, or let's just say quality of students. So depending upon the mission, we have to ensure that everybody is kind of correlating the same goal and pushing harder for the same. And also we need to kind of help them in each step of the way to make them also understand and learn in the way on how effectively they can communicate, or what can be improved in their pitch, or else how better they can kind of understand the end user. Because so without identifying the target customer, so if I'm speaking to, let's just say, 50 odd parents today, I need to get a sense of which parent would be my, let's just say, second follower, or who would kind of turn up at least for a demo visit, or else will be able to come to the institution and kind of have a cup of coffee, or have a long discussion on what the institution is going to offer. So we need to kind of inculcate all these uh, ways of how the counselor can identify the right parent for us. Because at the end of the day, that is what defines the number of enrollments, or even the revenue generation. If it has to go up, it depends upon the ground staff. Because on the top, we have multiple number of goals that we can set and push it down. But we also need to be sure that all those ground level staff are equipped with the right talent, or I would say right knowledge skill, to kind of have, or to kind of run for the common goal that we kind of set.
Thanks a lot, Vamsi. So Rama, so what would be your view?
Hi. Here is simple, sir. Like, we don't need to panic. First thing is we need to go for the basics. First, you need to be talking to the team leaders, team members, as well as the parents also. What exactly they're doing, what happening to the them. In between that, if you are managing with the team members and the customers, then easily you'll find out the root cause and everything. So here is simple. Like, the sales, like making pressure is not like the belief. The trust is important. If they trust it, automatically the sales will be happen. This is only I can say. End of the words.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, everyone. And so Ashna, since I'm sure that the audience would have some some questions as well. So would you want to say, like, take that up?
Yes, sure. Okay, the first question that we've received is how do you coach your teams to handle objections without sounding scripted or defensive, especially in a market where buyers have heard it all before? Abhishek sir, would you like to start?
So my view here is ki, you always lead by example. You ask your, team leader or your manager who's, managing that respective plot, to lead by example and talk to that consumer and convince the team members in front of them. So that, lifts the morale of the entire team. And consultative selling is something that we should focus on in today's era. I feel if we play with these two factors, it will never look like a script. But if we, do the orthodox way, do training, so it will obviously, look like an, script that we are repeating again and again. But again, if we focus on how to do consultative selling, and if you lead by example in a practical situation, that would help us, in real training.
Anyone else would like to chime in? Okay, we'll move on to the next question. What's working for you when it comes to selling value instead of features, especially in a price sensitive market?
So, answering to this particular question, so my take on this would be, the kind of setting the right expectations. Because when it is coming to a product, or whether it might be, anything that we kind of spend money on, what we always look for is what value am I getting out of it, or what is the ROI that I'm getting out of it. So we need to also clearly define what is the value addition that he or she would be getting if they kind of join my institution, if it is for a parent or a student. So it is always in India, we have a factor of stating proudly that my what is in that particular school or this particular school, or kind of is following XYZ curriculum or doing XYZ other activities in that particular school. So it always, we need to define those one or two outlying factors which is not kind of prevalent among most of the common institutions, because everybody will more or less say that I am the world's best institution, and if you kind of join my institution, there is no turning back and your life is going to kind of change in a it's kind of a rocket ship, not a sinking ship. So everybody says that, so we have to also be specific on what additional advantage that the student is getting if he or she is joining my institution or my class. Because nowadays everybody is kind of in a mood of getting a degree. Everybody is capable of getting that degree, piece of paper with pass marks. So what students want is the intellect. What intellect can they gain from the institution? So those value propositions should go out, and then that kind of helps to bridge the gap between the academic institutions and parents and students, I guess.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to the next question. When you talk about speed, what's one thing you've actually slowed down intentionally and it paid off?
So here, giving ample time for the decision makers. So what in sales, what generally happens is if I get a lead and I understand it is a warm lead, majorly what happens is we continuously keep engaging that particular lead until unless they say kind of, yes, I'm going to take it, or no, I'm not going to take it. So we have to give ample time for them to take the right decision. If I'm kind of continuously bugging them, stating that my product or my institution has these values, if you do not join today, you'll miss out on these opportunities. So it should not be in such a way. So if I am kind of touching a lead today, I at least need to give them 24 hours of time to think and also analyze other competitors as well. Because even if we say or not, they'll definitely analyze as well 10 different competitors and then take the decision. So after 24 hours or 48 hours, we need to kind of make a second visit, and third visit should be after 4 days or a week. So giving them ample time also earns their trust and respect, which kind of helps us to have a responsive conversation. Whenever we kind of call them back the second time or third time, they will pick up the call and answer it, and will be, flexible to have a more open-minded conversation, because I don't keep bugging them again or bother them again very soon. So that would be one of.
Thank you so much, sir.
So
Hari
in
sir,
this,
yeah.
so in this, I'll just like to add one more point here. So in this, somebody questioned like, "Ki, when do you decrease the speed, or when do you, decrease the velocity in terms of your, leads as well?" So I feel ki last month itself, I saw when I was looking at my funnel, I saw around 30% of the leads lying in not connected stage. So this is one stage where obviously, when basics are not done correctly, we decrease the flow of leads to make the, counselors realize the importance of leads where basics are not done correctly. Another thing which, adding on to what Vamakrishna said, back in 2018, especially in K-12, follow-up sales used to be very rare. I guess 2 or 3% used to be follow-up sales in K-12. It was always a spot decision that we used to make the parents take. Time has changed. I feel today 10 to 12% or even 20% of my sales happen in follow-ups. So the time that you have to give to a learner or a consumer has increased because they are smart enough to understand that there is nothing called spot decision. So that's one change that has happened within this 3, 4, 5 years.
Thank you so much, Abhishek sir. We'll just take the last question.
And moreover, these days, most of, yeah, one more point I just want to add. And moreover, these days, most of the EdTech, counselors also, they're not giving space to think for the parents, because see, like quickly they have to close the call in during call only. But this is not right way. They have to give some space to the parents also. Then they will take the call around like 4 or 5 hours later, or next day, or something like that. But these days, most of the counselors, they're trying to close the deal within that like 10 or 15 minutes during that time only. So I don't think so this is will be, I want to suggest, like I want to suggest, like give them some space to competitor analysis also. Then they can they can do some competitor analysis, like price, product, as well as what they're offering and reviews, these kind of things. Then parents can decide themselves who are the best in the market. Then they can be choose whatever they want. This is I can say.
Anyone else would like to add? Maybe then we can take up the last question before we wrap up the session.
So Ashna, okay, let's go for the last question of the session.
Okay. Last question. From teams that have added automation, has it actually saved reps time or just added more steps?
So I think I mentioned that we have
It's like a selling mode. Yeah.
sorry. So,
Hello.
Rama, you want to speak? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Here is the number one is saving more time, and number two is like follow-ups and everything will be properly organizing also. And number three is like saving counselors time. At same time also, it will be reminders to the counselors for the next day or upcoming events also. This is I can add it.
And for me also, I think I'm able to increase my sales bandwidth by 50% after replacing the first calls with AI, right? And so far, we are at a very early stage wherein we are just filtering out not interested leads. We are not actually letting AI do proper full and fledged counseling of the leads. So the max call duration that the AI is stretching right now is under 5 minutes, right? Then also, by doing this itself, I'm able to increase my sales bandwidth by approximately 50%. So that is something which has definitely helped.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. We'll now wrap up the session. I would like to thank all our panelists again for taking out time and having such an insightful conversation. I'm sure our audience loved each and everyone's inputs. Thank you so much to our audience for joining the session, and please keep following Lead Squared for more such insightful sessions. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.